What if the greatest striker football ever saw never broke down? Imagine Marco van Basten, not limping, not retiring early, not haunted by ice buckets and ankle braces, but healthy, dominant, legendary. A footballer who redefined the 80s and 90s. This isn't fantasy, it's a timeline that almost happened. In the real world, Van Basten was unstoppable until his ankle betrayed him. At just 28, he played his last competitive match. Before Messi, before Ronaldo, before Mbappe or Haaland, Van Basten was the blueprint, the complete forward, graceful, lethal and intelligent. He scored goals you had to rewind again and again. But what if the tackle never happened in 1986? What if the pain didn't follow him to Milan? What if the surgeries never came? In this alternate reality, Van Basten stays healthy. No cartilage issues, no tape, no injections, no early retirement. Instead, he dominates the world stage. He takes Milan to new heights. He transformed the Dutch national team into world champions. Would AC Milan have become the most feared team in football history? Would the Netherlands have won the 1998 World Cup with Bergkamp, Davids, Overmars, Kluivert and now Van Basten at his peak? Would 7 Ballon d'Ors and 4 Champions League titles put him beyond Messi and Ronaldo? This isn't a dream, it's a timeline that almost happened. And it all starts with one moment, a tackle he never makes. This is the story of Marco van Basten, the man who could have been football's ultimate legend. A timeline where he doesn't walk around the San Siro in pain, he runs, scores, wins, and leaves the game not with a limp, but with the world at his feet. In another life, Marco van Basten never made that tackle. It's March 1987. Ajax are facing Groningen. Frustrated by missed calls and brutal fouls, Van Basten tracks back. In the real timeline, he lunges. A reckless challenge the moment his ankle begins to fall apart. But not here. In this version, he hesitates, thinks, pulls out. And that single decision rewrites football history. He finishes the 1986-87 season healthy and unstoppable. 31 goals, Eredivisie top scorer again, but this time, every one of those goals comes without strapping, without painkillers, without post-match ice buckets, just pure elegant brilliance. AC Milan still come calling. They've seen enough, but now they are not gambling on a brittle genius. They are signing the most complete striker in Europe, fully fit and fully lethal. When he lands in Italy that summer, everything shifts. No delays, no surgeries, no 5-month absence. His Serie A debut, he scores. But now, he doesn't disappear afterwards. He stays. He dominates. Week by week, Van Basten introduces Italy to a new archetype. He isn't just clinical, he's poetic. His movement is ballet. His finish is violent. He bends defenders, not just beats them. With no ankle issues, he plays every match of the 1986-88 season, netting over 25 goals across all competitions. But it's the chemistry that changes everything. Gullit, Rijkaard, Ancelotti, Baresi, Maldini. Milan becomes more than a club, it becomes an empire, and Van Basten is the emperor. They still win the Scudetto, but not through a miracle off the bench. This time, it's dominance from game 1. Napoli and Maradona can stop him. Serie A hasn't seen anything like this since Platini. By the time Euro 1988 begins, Van Basten is a god, the hat-trick, the volley, the trophy. It all happens, but now it's just the beginning. He doesn't leap away from greatness, he walks straight into it. Ankle intact, legacy just starting. One decision, one tackle avoided, and the football universe forever changed. From 1988 to 1993, football wasn't fair. With Marco van Basten healthy, AC Milan didn't just dominate, they transcended. The world's most complete striker in his prime, flanked by Dutch brilliance, anchored by Italian discipline. It was an empire, and Van Basten sat on the throne. It started with a volley in Munich, Euro 1988. The goal heard around the world. Netherlands won the 1988 European Championship. Marco van Basten wins the 1988 Ballon d'Or. But that wasn't his peak, that was just a teaser. The real masterpiece began in Milan. In the season 1988-89, Van Basten's first full season free of injury, he shredded Serie A defenses, over 30 goals in all competitions. He wasn't just a number 9, he was a hybrid, a technician in a striker's body. He passed like a playmaker, drifted like a winger, finished like a finisher from another planet. He danced around defenders like Cruyff and punished them like Batistuta. That year AC Milan toured through Europe. Steaua Bucharest were dismantled in the final with 4-0. Van Basten scored twice and Milan didn't stop. In 1990 they repeated. Another Champions League, another statement. Van Basten led the line with poetry and violence. No one could cope, not Koeman, not Baresi in training, not anyone. He claimed his second Ballon d'Or in 1989, then his third in 1992. No one else came close. Maradona was fading, Romario was explosive but inconsistent, Stoichkov and Papin had moments, but Van Basten had eras. And Milan weren't just winning, they were evolving. Under Sacchi, then Capello, the team became a war machine. Maldini rising, Baresi timeless, Rijkaard sweeping, Gullit creative, but the one who stitched it all together was Marco van Basten. His movement created space for all of them. His vision unlocked defenses. His finishing punished any lapse. Then came the 1992-93 season. The year football gave in. Milan swept through the Champions League. No controversies, no disallowed goals, no injuries. And the final against Olympique Marseille, this time no scandal, just domination. Van Basten scores, Gullit assists, Rijkaard shuts down everything. Milan lifts their third European Cup in 5 years. And Van Basten? He collects his fourth Ballon d'Or. Baggio never lifts the trophy in this timeline. For Van Basten is the fourth in 6 years, a feat only matched by one other man decades later. But what makes it extraordinary isn't the numbers, it's the continuity, the relentlessness. There were no lost seasons, no rehab setbacks, just a 6-year hurricane of footballing perfection. His Serie A record is untouchable, 3 Scudettos, countless match-winning performances. Milan go undefeated in the 1991-92 season. Van Basten scores 25, assists 12, and in this timeline he doesn't need surgery afterwards, he only gets better. Commentators run out of superlatives, newspapers create new ones. In training, young players like Albertini watch in awe. He's not just a legend, they see him every day. He's real, he's routine, he's a god in football boots. From 1988 to 1993, Van Basten isn't injured. He isn't limping. He isn't asking doctors for answers. He's delivering them on the pitch every week. This isn't the tragic genius of real life. This is the masterpiece we were robbed of. The unbroken, unleashed, unstoppable Marco van Basten. After 1993, most legends begin their slow fade. Not Marco van Basten. In this timeline, he enters a new phase, an era of control, mastery and myth-making. He's no longer chasing greatness, he's shaping it. The 1993-94 season begins with Milan as reigning European kings, but they want more. Capello's side is a fortress, Maldini and Baresi form a defensive wall, Marcel Desailly has arrived, and up front Van Basten is still the heart, still the genius. They breeze through Serie A. In the Champions League, they return to the final in 1994, this time against Barcelona's famed dream team of Romario, Guardiola and Stoichkov, but with Van Basten fully fit, it's a slaughter. AC Milan wins with 4-0, Van Basten scores twice, assisting another, in front of 70,000 fans. He doesn't just lift the trophy, he owns the night. That's 4 European Cups, but it's just the beginning of his second peak. In 1995, Milan defend their crown. They beat Ajax, poetic in itself, Van Basten conquering his past to rewrite the future. He scores the winner, nodding in a cross from Savicevic in the 87th minute. Another final, another goal, another Ballon d'Or, his 5th. By now, the numbers are ridiculous. 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions League titles, over 250 career goals. But what sets him apart is what he does next. Euro 1996. In our world, the Netherlands crash out on penalties, but in this timeline they rise. Marco van Basten leads a squad of immense talent. Bergkamp, Davids, Kluivert, Seedorf, Overmars. He's the experienced general guiding a golden army. They beat France in the semi-finals with a last-minute goal from Davids. In the final against Germany, it's Van Basten's night. He scores one, assists another. The Dutch win with 2-1. It's their second European title. For Van Basten it's personal, redemption for missed tournaments. A legacy reinforced. He wins his 6th Ballon d'Or that winter. The 1997 UEFA Champions League is still won in this alternate timeline by Borussia Dortmund, but before his final tournament with the Netherlands team, he adds one more jewel to his club legacy, the 1998 UEFA Champions League. AC Milan returns to the summit, and this time it's Real Madrid standing in their way. The Galacticos are forming, Raúl, Roberto Carlos, Redondo, Hierro, but this AC Milan, too complete, too experienced, too deadly. Van Basten leads the line with calm authority. He's no longer the young assassin, he's the wise general. He doesn't chase the game, he controls it. In the final, held in Amsterdam, fitting close to where it all began, he scored AC Milan's second goal with a first-time finish from a Rui Costa through ball. Paolo Maldini adds a third. The match ends with 3-1. AC Milan are champions of Europe once again. Marco van Basten? He's now lifted the Champions League for the 6th time. His 6th title, a record that will never be matched. But one mountain remains. France 1998. The World Cup. This Dutch team? Unreal. Edwin van der Sar as the goalkeeper. Stam, Frank de Boer, Davids, Cocu, Seedorf, Bergkamp, Kluivert. And at the center, Van Basten. 33, still world class, still lethal. They tear to the group stage. Van Basten scores in all 3 games. Netherlands easily got through Yugoslavia in the round of 16 with a comfortable 3-1 win. In the quarterfinals against Argentina, he bands in a free kick from 30 yards. They won 1-0. In the semifinals they faced Brazil. No penalties in this timeline, no extra time. Brazil awaits Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Cafu, but the Dutch team is ready and Marco van Basten is ruthless. He scores early, a thunderous volley from a Davids assist. Brazil equalized through Ronaldo, but in the 72nd minute Van Basten rises for a header. It's 2-1, and that's how it ends. The Netherlands are in the final. In the final they face the hosts, France. Zidane pulls strings, Barthez makes saves, but Van Basten, he comes to the rescue. He chips Barthez in the 89th minute from the edge of the box. The stadium falls silent. It's 1-0 for Netherlands against France. The Netherlands win the World Cup. Total football completed. 30 years after Cruyff fell short, Van Basten finishes the mission. He lifts the World Cup in Paris at 33, the final jewel in his crown. That December, he wins his 7th Ballon d'Or, a number that echoes through history, more than Messi, more than Ronaldo, more than anyone. His career is now untouchable. Not just for the trophies or the goals or the stats, but because in this timeline he fulfilled every inch of his promise. He didn't limp off into the night, he marched into immortality. By 1999, Marco van Basten wasn't just a football legend, he was the definition of footballing perfection. In our timeline, the GOAT debate spins endlessly, Messi or Ronaldo, Maradona or Pelé, but here there is no debate. There is Marco van Basten, 7 Ballon d'Ors, 6 Champions League titles, 1 World Cup and 2 European Championships with the Netherlands. The striker who mastered every moment. He retires in 2000, not limping away from pain but walking out on top. His decision, his terms. 35 years old, still world class, still scoring, still terrifying defenders. The final resume? 7 Ballon d'Ors, 6 Champions League titles, 1 World Cup, 2 European Championships, 8 Serie A titles, over 500 club goals, 70 goals for the Netherlands and 0 major injuries. But beyond the stats, it's how he played. Elegant yet ruthless, calm yet lethal. He didn't chase glory, he became it. The impact was generational. Kids in the 2000s didn't just idolize Ronaldo's power or Messi's magic, they studied Van Basten's control, his headers, his one-touch finishes. Coaches showed slow-motion replays of his off-ball movement. Analysts coined the term Van Basten zones, spaces defenders feared and goalkeepers dreaded. In the early 2010s, as Messi dazzled and Ronaldo soared, there was always the shadow, Van Basten, the original, the unreachable, the one who did it all, earlier and longer, in fewer games and with more grace. Debates still happened, but they were different. Messi had the dribbles, Ronaldo had the goals, but Van Basten? He had completeness, beauty, and a legacy built not on highlight reels, but on total domination, year after year. In this timeline, there is no myth, no what if, there is only what was. In another timeline, Marco van Basten was the greatest footballer of all time. No ankle injuries, no tears at San Siro, no career cut short. Instead, 7 Ballon d'Ors, 6 Champions League titles, 2 European Championships and 1 World Cup. A striker who didn't just score, he sculpted goals, who didn't just play, he performed poetry, and who didn't just dominate, he redefined what greatness looked like. In this reality, Van Basten didn't retire in silence. He bowed out on his own terms at 35. After conquering everything football had to offer, he walked away, not limping, not frustrated, but fulfilled. A legacy completed, not interrupted. And here, the GOAT debate was never a debate at all. He won it. Clean, clear and complete. So now we ask, if Marco van Basten had stayed healthy, would Messi or Ronaldo have ever reached the same heights? What would happen to AC Milan's dynasty? Would the Netherlands have become the Brazil of Europe? Would the footballing world ever be the same? Tell us in the comments, how would you write Van Basten's ultimate career? And if this timeline lit up your imagination, if you love alternate sports scenarios, if you believe that one moment can change everything, then hit that like button, subscribe for more legendary rewrites, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss what's next. Because sometimes, the greatest players aren't the ones who shine the brightest in real life, they are the ones who could have lit up the world if only history had let them. This was Marco van Basten, unbroken, unmatched, unforgettable.